He should be here during.
You can talk to my wife there.
Oh, I'll just wait to call it to order then.
Uh-huh.
Kathy just gave it to me. It's the legal calendar for the budget.
Oh, I don't have a copy on me, but I usually do print one out.
Okay, so you know what? Because I didn't know what we're all responsible for. I have a copy here if you want one.
Yeah, I don't, if you have an extra one.
Oh, I don't have an extra one, but I'll share.
Give it to me, I'll go make a copy of it quick for you, Kate,
What's that?
before the meeting starts.
And I don't know, all of those reports in the front of that, do you do all of those? Like, we're just looking at the individual expense budgets, but there's all of this stuff in the front of the budget. Do you do all of that? I know that one comes from Casey, but there's minutes and everything. I'm assuming that
Oh,
all
what
comes from
gets turned
you.
into the state auditor?
Cause I think that all has to come from you, right? Cause you have all of that.
I don't know who's supposed to do it. It's just a requirement when you submit it into the state auditors. Cause you have to have all of the stuff to submit it,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise they,
Kick it back.
Yeah.
Like this stuff. I mean, we can get the information, but. And the budget program, when we input numbers, does it automatically put those numbers over here?
I think so, but
Did you put them over here? That must have.
I've never put numbers there.
I have an old laptop, a Dell, and it was the big one so that it was a budget program on it. Well, now it won't run the budget program because it tells me I need a .NET app something. I'm like, so I don't know. Only Mike, I think you still do.
Yeah,
You should have,
I
like,
can get into the budget program.
yeah, that's imperative.
But a lot of those numbers, I never
So I
put in.
wonder if it just does this.
I know when I start the budget, in the budget system, I have to import numbers for my MIP system, and Kathy has to import her numbers. And then the numbers just appear.
Thanks, Dave.
So, thank you.
Good, that's a good thing, I think.
So I don't know where they all go. I don't ask questions. I just get on the phone with MIPS and I say, okay, what do I need to do?
It should work. So in the budget program, can we go in that budget program and then input numbers and play with them? And get the figures and then go in and change those? It's not locked in, is it?
No,
Okay.
they're not locked in until you go to the next step.
Okay, so if we go in and play with numbers, I think you were doing that for us last year. Playing
Yeah.
with numbers and then you'd tell us where the levy was.
Yeah, so after each workshop, I'd put in what numbers you guys changed, and then I left it until the next one. And then I just kept going until
Okay.
however long.
Hey,
Hey.
and you're still okay doing that?
Implementing the numbers.
Yeah, putting the numbers in, or we can do that as well.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, I
It's
could
up to you.
put
I sniffed it, I didn't
You just sniffed it?
chew
You lick it?
I think I might have yours.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. And yes, they're open, no.
Let's divide up a bit, so if you don't mind
That
it.
don't bother me.
All right, because I don't know, we should have papers.
If that works for you.
Divide up into
Mine
papers.
doesn't have mayonnaise.
And so, we have mayonnaise and I just let it yours.
So that our numbers match from these workshops to you. How do you want me to do it? Mine are all in spreadsheets, like Excel spreadsheets. Do you want me just to email those to you?
Hey, that one looks
How do
pretty.
you want to do that?
Okay.
I think
Either
it's
email them
or
or
mayonnaise added to it.
at the end
Okay.
of every.
I didn't have any mayonnaise.
Every
Fall in there.
just
It's clean because I just washed my hands.
make sure the numbers match.
Maybe a little skinny.
I can do that. Or
It'll
I
be
can
sweeter though.
print them
Very good.
and send them to you that way. Mine will have like everything.
Teach parts?
25.
Huh?
Teach your
My
parts?
notes,
I did.
everything.
Right. Whatever.
That's a fast trip.
That's a win.
You have to muddle through it
That's
all.
because he's been to court.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Don't ask me how fast I drove.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Kathy, guess we need.
I wanna change that, just,
We'll call to order the Banner County Board of Commissioners, July 1st at 11:14 a.m. Roll call.
Don,
Present?
Robin,
Here.
Lee,
Present.
Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the courtroom by the entrance. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Don,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Public comments. Banner County Board of Commissioners will receive public comments on items discussed at this meeting or suggestions for items of discussion at a future Banner County Board of Commissioners meeting. The board will not act and/or respond on comments presented on this date. Please keep comments limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comments? There being no public comments, items of business before the board. Budget workshop. I need to get geared up here. I was kind of talking with Katie and I gave you guys a copy of this. It's a schedule that Kathy gave me. Tells us who does what when. And I was kind of talking with Katie. She's okay with still inputting our numbers into that budget program. We all agree should still have access to that budget program. I don't know if you guys have logged in and looked at it.
Not used to it.
But if she puts those numbers in there, then we still see the same thing, right? We do see the same thing, right? In the budget
you
program.
should. The only thing that'll be different is it'll say who's logged in, so it'll say your name, and then, from what Mix told me, it records who was in the budget last, so, I don't know where you find that at, but it'll tell you if somebody went in there and changed some numbers.
We only have access to view. We can't edit.
Yes, you can.
You can.
The three of us can and Katie can.
Really?
And that's it, I believe,
That's
right?
insane.
As far as I know.
I think so, because I think, was it, somebody from the past was on there and I had Heather remove them. They were gone. So yeah, I don't remember who that was, but yeah, it should be just the four of us. Because I think the less fingers playing in the budget, the better. I emailed this to you guys. What I'm kind of thinking today is to start down the new budget with what the board is responsible for.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Seems reasonable. Start at the top.
Hey Jerry,
Hey guys,
how
Jerry?
are you?
hey, I'm smelling burnt weed or something out south of here.
Oh, really?
Oh,
You might have a meeting somewhere, I'm trying to call you one.
so probably one of the first things we need to figure out, because it's gonna affect about every one of them, is that cost of living that we do every year. The something point index this year is 2.4%.
Jay out in the field or?
I don't know if you guys wanna leave it, what is that called, something the point index, national,
Oh, I usually can rattle that off too.
Talking about the one we do in January.
right. We put it in the budget now, but then
It comes in here.
Katie can sit in the payroll in January when we set it then.
Also remembering that each road department employee gets an increase in salary based on
that table,
that.
and we'll look at that in January, huh? So good. But we have to keep
Actually,
it in
we
mind.
set that up to do, didn't we set it up to do it in the fiscal year rather than the calendar year?
okay.
So we know what it was at the start.
Do that in your budget.
Thank you, Jerry.
I think you might be right, Don.
I guess I might encourage for, because they're on a salary schedule, not to figure in the 2.4% every year increase. we can control costs a lot better. Now, for the secretaries, we'd have to, and anybody else that was subject to that, we'd have to include it.
But you're saying for road employees?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the road employees, those go by that table.
Right.
But
And that
everybody
built,
else-
we built that in, all of that when that was put together. That was
Mhm.
nicely done.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine with that.
So do we change that wages, salaries now, or do we do that in January?
I think it was,
I think we set it up and changed it now. I think he's
Do
right.
you remember, Katie? By chance?
What was it?
Do we change salaries, wages now? With the
No.
rollout of the fiscal year or in January?
It's variable. We've, traditionally, in the past, we've always done it the first of the year. But I do believe last year, when you guys were working on budget, you guys wanted to move it with the fiscal year.
So that it all lined up?
I have not done it yet because I wasn't sure, I guess.
we'd have to go back to the minutes and
That's
see how the
probably-
motion was.
That's probably something we need to attack sooner
Sooner
than
than
later
later.
because
But, yep, 'cause
Katie
it
will
needs
do
done.
payroll
Yep.
I already did payroll for this.
for June.
Yeah, but it has July dates on it.
Gotcha.
It
Yeah,
would be in effect for your next payroll.
Right.
and we have, of course, as the board for the road department, the right to increase the base pay on that. And then that filters through the formula as well. So what you can do, I'd do away with that 2.4% mandatory road department, you know, and just do it for the people who are.
I don't think it was ever mandatory, to clarify. I think it was a,
And I know some counties do the 2.4% cost of living, but some counties up that to 3-4%. I mean, you can
Yeah.
put it wherever you want.
Yep.
I don't have that in the department table, do you guys?
I don't have any of that with me.
We could probably still do that next meeting, right, Katie? Because that would give you time to get most of July on that new pay scale.
All of July.
So that's just road department. We could do the other officials, right? No, we do ours different.
So,
I thought statute determined when the commissioners set our salaries.
Right, but historically, we've given that 2.4% increase across the board.
The 2.4
To all
doesn't,
electeds, to all
Right,
office staff.
right. I guess my question is, do you want to keep it at 2.4 for our other elected officials? Or what do you guys want to do with that?
Well, I would, seems to me it ought to be whatever we increase the budget, essentially. So we need to make a determination that the COLA from, or the CPI, and I can never remember the.
Consumer Price Index.
Yeah, but this is Nebraska's.
Slice.
What is it?
Slice.
Slice. When they do that, they've already told us, they told us in the budget meetings that it's 5.17%. That's what our slice is. So we're gonna be able to spend
Up to,
up to that
you don't
across
have
the
to,
board.
you're not gonna spend over it, but you could spend up to, but you don't have to spend 5.1. You could-
Right. Well, yeah, you could, yeah. And as hard as this county's been hit,
I hear you,
Agreed.
I hear you. And I think we're at 329 million the last time I checked with Casey is versus 299 last year.
and she gets those
But that's-
numbers in the middle of August?
Yeah, something like that, it should say on the
She's
sheet.
talking about doing your work with one half the information.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're just spitballing here, but it's okay.
So I guess, what percentage you guys want to increase the officials? Maybe Katie remembers, isn't there the board, we can't set our salaries until a certain time, and I thought we just did
The
that.
statute says we can't set the actual salary. We can give it an increase. We can do an annual increase, but we can't reset the statute for Zane until the January of the election year. So you guys, we can reset it because you're both up for election in 26, right?
I thought it was the other way around,
No, so,
because we gave these guys an increase every year.
so you should, so we get the COLA every year.
Yeah.
But December of 25 or January of 26 is when you set the new officials'
Oh.
salary.
And it doesn't become effective until,
January of 27.
As a whole, like the 50,000 or whatever. it is.
Right, so say I'm at 58 this year with considering my 2.4 COLA. For the next term, starting in 27, you say, okay, we'll give you 70,000 this year or whatever. So December of this year or January of 26, you set that because then that sets the fees for
For the
the
income
election
base.
to base the election. So when I pay my filing fees, that sets
Oh,
those
okay.
fees, and then that salary will kick in January of 27
Okay.
for the next 4 years.
because,
I'm with you, I understand.
yeah, and when the odd guy, you don't get a change. It's good for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, there's an odd guy.
So-
Right.
Basically, December of this year or January, you as a board, we have to have a meeting where we will set all the electeds' salary except for Don, because he's the only one that's not up. But he will still piggyback off of your two salaries. So you'll set those salaries, but they won't kick in until 27. 1/1 of 27 or whenever.
1 year later after we set them.
Right.
But you have to have
Okay.
them for that year, because that's what sets the filing fees for the election.
That makes sense.
And so
Okay.
we don't have to worry about that until next budget cycle.
Right. Okay. So do you want to start down the boards?
Yep.
Budget? Salaries. Are we gonna do a cost of living across the board? And what percent do you want?
Okay, so my take on historically given that, I think that we continue down that path. I think that that's fair business. If we want to do something different on the road department, you could increase, do for us what we do for our other electeds, we do for everybody. That's my take.
Yeah, agree.
So whether it's an employee or whatever, everybody gets the same
Across the board.
across the
Do you
board.
want the 2.4%? That's what it is, the something pricey.
Again, I think that's fair off the consumer pricing index. I think 2.4 is fair because that's a number that's federally recognized.
That's less than half slice.
Right. So I think that's the number we use.
Okay,
That's
so
the number I use in my business.
if our budget was 35,000, or our salaries were 35,000, that by 2.4% for the cost of living, that increases it $840.
Right. That's what I want in there. That's what I want in there.
I'm
And that's,
I'm
So
good
you're
with
gonna use 2.4, even though slice is 5.17.
yep,
Okay.
that's my take. If somebody, would you like to do the 5.17?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank
But
you.
I'd like to do 3%.
Okay.
It would be about as much as I think we'd be willing to go.
Okay.
Part of the equation, we could back figure how much money we actually can take in, because you can't spend more than you take in. And you're limited in growth too, so. But it's 5.17%. We can,
I think we give enough perks and benefits on the
We're
side.
heavy on the benefits.
We are.
We're heavy on.
We're heavier than most
We are.
counties, so I feel the 2.4 is fair.
I think that's very fair, and I think that keeps everybody at an expected level.
And if we wanted, we
Yeah,
talked about this
that would be
morning,
something
we
we
wanted
could-
to add,
we could add.
that's an extra, I was doing it in my head while I was driving.
$24.
$500 a year. from us for that if we choose to do that?
As a,
And there's
as a whole picture.
Right. Roughly.
the other caveat is every employee that signs up for a colonial, and we only have maybe one, they get 15% discount on their policy.
Yeah.
So anybody that switches from Aflac to that's gonna get a 15% discount. If you
What
go
do you two think about as employees of the county? What do you two think about the life insurance thing?
Aflac, I've been on Aflac my whole life, and I truly like Aflac. I've never been on Colonial, so I don't know. It's just, so for me, I think the life insurance part is that's a pretty cool deal. I mean, for $2, I mean.
That's a little more of a bonus.
Mhm.
See?
I won't leave Aflac, and I won't sign up for the life insurance either. I'm free $10,000 life insurance policy, and then all they do is call you. And
True that.
I am not gonna do it. I have enough phone calls of people wanting to sell me stuff already.
sign up as a group, you'll get it whether you want it or not. I don't think you could.
Right, but he's saying he wouldn't add to it or
You
anything.
can opt out of it, I would think, because I don't want the fraud.
I don't know why you can't. I mean, that should be your choice. We can't control what
Right,
we want.
But you see what I'm saying, though, I don't, because I caught that line, he said, well, they'll have the option to increase, and, which just means that there's gonna be people calling you wanting you to buy more stuff.
It should be like our health insurance. We offer the health insurance. We pay the whatever, but the employees can take it or leave it. They don't have to take it.
But that's my,
Probably, yes, you're probably right.
but
Okay,
I've been with Aflac forever, and they have proven themselves to me how to stay.
all right, so do you want me to highlight the numbers on here I changed, Katie?
Yeah.
Well, that's not gonna, how about I highlight them in, I don't know, because I use all different colors here. I'll just send it to you, you'll be able to figure it out.
Okay.
So the board official salary